with my good friend Rabbi Glazerson, who has enormous amounts of patience to do what he does in creating these Torah codes, and I'm sure you've seen his website where he has hundreds of these literally up on YouTube. And he does them on every topic pretty much imaginable, and he's also featured in the Torah Code Into Darkness film, which came out about a year ago, and we're already trying to work on another one. I mean, that's something that we're trying to do.
Hope that we have the people to help for it.
Yeah. And so that just requires us to get the money together to do that, and that's what we're doing right now, to try to figure out how to do that the best way. But he did a table for me again today, which is very humbling, actually, because it mentions Torah Code and my company name, Pinlight. Legerson, why don't you explain what this table means?
And also it's interesting that this table you can see in red, Torah Code, and what is interesting is that you have Pinlight, definitely, with the smallest skip, which instead is very, very significant.
Well, what he means by that, the small skip, it's like we're talking about, again, like we do in the film, equidistant letter sequencing, which is skipping letters to find other words in the Torah. And in the word Pinlight, what was the skip?
It is four.
Four letters.
Only 4 letters.
So you wouldn't even need a computer if you knew where to look to find the name Pinlight.
Definitely. It's very. Now, what is interesting that under Pinlight you have a small skip of this year, 5776.
Yeah, that's the Hebrew calendar word for 2016.
So this clearly shows that Pinlight has a very important task, destiny on this year to bring more and more to our cause. Now, really, you have here, you can see on the right, 5775, Tafshinai Hey, which really we did the previous...
It's when the film came out.
Yeah, right. Now, also what we have here on the same line of Pinlight, you have ephod and ephod, as we showed already in one of the watchers.
Yes.
That ephod are connected with codes.
And ephod's kind of interesting because it was a device that the high priest wore that lit up when you asked it questions.
Exactly.
So we're kind of postulating, could the Torah Code be the modern ephod? We've mentioned that before, even in Watchers we mentioned that.
One of the Watcher sites.
But in this case, it is very interesting. Maybe the ephod was a device. It had some kind of technology that we don't understand today.
It was a divine thing. Now also what is important is that we have like a sentence, the purpose of Pinlight, the purpose of Torah Code is to show to the world the deeds of God, because the Torah was a blueprint of creation, which means that everything which is in the Torah, it was planned, and really with our deeds, and free choice. But when we behave in different ways, we have different tables. I mean, this is the idea of the codes, which were only the written Torah, not in the Bible, not in the...
No, this is amazing to me. It's very humbling and exciting to think that we'd have anything to do with showing the world the deeds of God. But I mean, if that's what we're supposed to do, it's a great thing. But you also done a couple other really interesting tables, which blew my mind. This one here, because this is on all the news today about Hillary Clinton being sick, and so we thought we'd see if there was a table about that. And tell me what you found here.
So it's amazing that only once in the Torah it appeared that Hillary is sick. Also very interesting.
In a full sentence, Hillary is sick with the same skip.
Right, definitely the same skip. Once in the Torah, Sick. Now, what is the sickness of Hillary? Also indication you have here within Bedaleket, it means she is sick, Chola, I mean she is sick. Hillary is sick with infection. Which one? You have on the left side, Reot, Daleket Reot.
So, lungs, which is with infection. Weren't you telling me that that's the word in Hebrew
Daleket Reot.
For pneumonia?
Yeah, in English is pneumonia. In Hebrew you say Daleket, it is infection. Which kind of infection? Of the Reot. And this is exactly what you have here. You have here Bedaleket, because it's written Chola, Hillary Chola, with what?
Right.
With infection. Now, which one? Minimal in the Torah, lungs. And also we have the ear, you have 5776, which is this here.
Right.
And also, by the way, you have the woman, to tell you that she is a woman.
Yeah, and that's close to her sentence, sick Hillary. Really amazing. So what was the skip on sick Hillary? It's a pretty large skip, was it?
Because it's in the Torah, once in the Torah, and many letters. You can see on the left side, it's written there, 11385. It means from which letter? The letter is 11385.
11,385 letters. Yeah.
So because it is,
but it's a complete sentence with both words in it, which
right, and it is also the best meeting with the Daleket and with ear also. Right?
Yeah. Now this other one is really, I don't know. I find this one really, really incredible because, I mean, it'll make a lot of people angry, but here it is. Anyway,
Yeah, you
you've
see,
got an enormous sentence in this.
Yeah, so you have to analyze to show clearly. Now, the first thing I have to emphasize that the basis of this finding is by a site which is called Kilashem Anucha. That's a kingdom is to God. Very interesting site. And there I found as you can see from the beginning, which is in Hebrew, Toavat Hashem,
The abomination unto the Lord.
of Artzot Habrit, of the United States, in one sentence. Unbelievable, yeah?
Yeah.
And they found, the continuation is, Ma yesh libam, like what there is in their heart.
Yeah. What is their heart?
Yeah?
They are defiled, and United States comes in right across that word. They are defiled, and then the abomination unto the abominable unto the Lord, and all of this is in the same skip, in the same sentence, which is
very, very highly significant because
well, yeah. But when you show this to me, and then we realize that in the plain text down below,
exactly the same.
It says an abomination unto the Lord thy God.
Exactly. So it's very important that in Torah course you should use the right words. Yeah. There are, unfortunately, all those who are doing tables with words without.
Yeah.
It must be the proper sentence.
So this table was found in the book of Deuteronomy, or in more than one book?
In few, because it's such a distance. It must be in many.
Oh.
You see, you can see it really.
But the plain text
from Genesis, it goes after Deuteronomy.
But the plain text was found in Deuteronomy.
Yeah, right. The plain text. Now, also very important to point out, Obama and Hillary. You can see this is what I found. After seeing their table, I saw that Obama and Hillary, you can see Hillary in red and Obama in yellow, really like...
they're like intertwined with each other.
Exactly.
Which is really...
Definitely also very
that's pretty crazy.
And showing the connection, definitely, of their deeds, Also, by the way, on top you have a very small skip, letter after letter, of this year, 776.
776.
Which itself, it is quite significant.
Well, I know this whole code table tees off of the bottom here where it says, cursed will be the taker of bribery. Now, is that plain text?
Yeah,
or is
it's plain, no, it is plain text.
It's plain text.
Yeah, plain text, right. And also, by the way, we have to emphasize the left, you have the left, right?
The left,
because you know quite well that, that's the left, this is the side, the left wing, really. Very much with this.
Now, is this also in Deuteronomy? Cursed will be the taker of bribery?
Yeah. Also in Deuteronomy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One can see clearly where is the place. You see in Hebrew, you have, right.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them in Deuteronomy, right. But it starts from Genesis. It starts from Genesis, going all over up till finishing with Deuteronomy.
Yeah, so this table spans all 5 books, but the plain text that we're reading was from the book of Deuteronomy.
Right. No doubt.
No, that's pretty amazing.
So definitely this.
Well, it's amazing when you see that in the code, the abomination unto the Lord, and then in the plain text it says the same thing.
Yeah, this which gives a lot of force to the finding.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
Right,
and you're not forcing the table to do that. This is like, it just happens.
Exactly. This is what is very important about codes, because because all those who are doing codes, put words but no connection, not the right one. You take Hebrew words and bring them together, but they don't make sense. The most important in table code like this is to show the right wordings, right Hebrew words, and only this which makes it significant, besides being minimal.
Well, that's your great value, I think, is that you're able to word these phrases as if they were written 3,000 years ago.
Exactly.
And then it makes sense, because that's the way the book was written. Anyway, I know that this is wild stuff, and thank you so much for flying all the way to Los Angeles yet again. You do so often.
Right. I feel it's very important, that I can see that people are very, very eager, want very much, very thirsty to know what is going on, to see, to have meanings to it. And really, if you find it in the locations where Torah is, you saw here, clearly there is a message from God, what we should do. We should improve ourselves, really. And this is what will bring the Messiah,
And meanwhile, you can see the original film Torah Codes End to Darkness on Vimeo. Hope you check it out. Rabbi Glazerson, you worked with me on Torah Codes Into Darkness, and the last time we met on that film was actually in Jerusalem at the Mount Zion Hotel, where you showed us some tremendous things that are in the film. But then today you came to Los Angeles and you're showing me something which is so phenomenal, we just have to show it to people. And this is from a book from a rabbi that passed away. Yeah, a Kabbalist that works with gematria, or the science of numbers, and finding things in the scriptures. And what you showed me is just, it's beyond coincidence, in my opinion, that all this is happening. Can you please show us the 776 number that he found?
Yeah. What you see is the following. It's in Hebrew, but you have Biat HaMashiach, the coming of Messiah, Betavshin Ayin Vav, in 776.
In the past 6 months, all of you that are working on Torah codes have sent me some incredible tables, all pointing towards Messiah, and all of you seem to be working on that topic more than anything else right now. And can you please read these individual lines to us and explain what that means?
Now, the most important point is that next year is after sabbatical.
Yes.
According to our tradition, the time of Messiah coming is after sabbatical. Interesting to point out that 776 come before 777. Now, mystically, number 7 represents kingdom, completion. And there are 3 dimensions of singles, tens, and hundreds. So the number 777 represents this completion. Don't think about the plane. The plane 777 plane, but this number is interesting. Okay, let us see now.
A lot of things are just kind of coming together here.
Together,
it's really
exactly.
Pretty incredible.
So let us see that what you see here is like following. Elokei Abraham, Elokei Yitzchak Elo Yaakov, the Lord of Abraham, the Lord of Isaac, the Lord of Jacob, 776.
And in English, it would probably be read the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you add up those words, it comes to 776.
Exactly.
Okay.
776.
And the next one.
Malchut David Leolam Va'ed, the kingdom of David, Leolam Va'ed, to the eternal world.
The kingdom of David will what?
It will be Leolam Va'ed.
The world.
For eternal. It will for eternal world. It will be eternal.
Eternal.
Yeah. So in Hebrew, these are 2 words. Shuvu elai v'ashuvu alechem. Come back to me, then I will come back to you. Yeah?
Yes.
776.
776.
Then you have here lema'ani eseh. God said, I will do for myself I will do. 776. 776.
Wow, that's a nice one.
Yeah. Then shuvu banim shebavim. Come back to me like naughty children. The idea that God asks us to come back to him, 776. Yeah, wow. He wants us to come back.
That's incredible.
Again, what is written here, Umalchutcha ad olam, your kingdom of God, yeah, will be ad olam forever. Ad olam forever. Then you have here, Amalchut ha'achrona, the last kingdom, 776.
Now what was that? Read that one in English again.
Amalchut ha'achrona, the last kingdom.
The last kingdom.
Yeah, it means that all the previous were not eternal, but this will be eternal.
So this is...
and the most interesting numerical value, Gematria, is Biat HaMashiach, the coming of Messiah, 776. Wow. The numerical value of the Biat HaMashiach. Yeah.
And what's the big one at the bottom?
It's written here, what is written? 7 are the Tavshina and Vav, 776. This is a year. 776, it's 776. And all these sentences are 776, which is the next year.
So, but it would actually be 5776.
Yeah, because you see, we look on days, we took every millennia, every sun as a separate part.
Right.
Yeah. So therefore,
how do we know it's the 5th?
No, because you see, according to our tradition, Messiah will come in this millennium, which is the 6th one. Right?
Really?
Yeah. This is why the numbers don't have the 5 here, because it's self-understood. When you speak about Messiah, you relate to 5,000 end. Yeah, because it's 6 million, you see? Yeah, this was the
Is that a Kabbalistic thing, or is that Midrash?
I say, it will matter, Kabbalistic. It is not more Kabbalistic, says.
Okay.
There is Vilna Gaon. Yeah, like the Vilna Gaon says that all the indication to our history in the 6 millennia is in the book of Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
Yeah, because Deuteronomy, even it is the 5th book, but we believe that the book of Genesis is divided into 2 parts. So basically the Deuteronomy is really like a 6th book.
Okay.
So therefore, a lot of indications of what is going to be in the world and what really happened, you find in the book of Deuteronomy, because it's the 6 millennia.
So in the book of Daniel, it says, and we actually put that in the Torah Code Into Darkness film. It says, "Shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end." And you were showing me something that seemed to refer to that.
So this is a verse from Daniel.
The verse reads, From the time that the daily sacrifice is abolished and the abomination that causes desolation is set up, there will be 1,290 days. Blessed is the one who waits for and reaches the end of the 1,335 days. Rabbi Glazerson's gematria, he found by the now-deceased rabbi who posted these findings, seems to indicate that the 1,335 days from the book of Daniel have something to do with the year 2016. That the 1,335 days from the book of Daniel have something to do with the year 2016. 1,335 days from the book of Daniel have something to do with the year 2016. If the date 2016 is written out in Hebrew and the letters added up, and the number 1335 is also written out and added up, the same number, 3,382, appears. That number by itself means nothing, but to find the same number for both the year 2016 and the number of days 1335 from the book of Daniel seems to be clearly more than coincidence.
The year 5,000, you see, full one.
Yeah.
776. So it clearly shows that these numbers of Daniel indicates to next year. The center line of this table says the following: Yavo will come be'et, in time of trouble. Now we have other tables which shows that the time of troubles is this year. Which shows that the time of troubles is this year. Shows that the time of troubles is this year. Israel will not have problems.
5775 or 2015.
Yeah, five. This is 5, yeah.
Right.
Exactly, this year, before the Messiah. Then who will cause his troubles? Obama. Who will cause his troubles? Obama. Who will cause his troubles? Obama. Yeah, you can see Obama, parallel. And parallel is very significant.
That's the word Obama in Hebrew.
Yeah, Obama. This is Obama, the word Obama. And we know quite well that in tables, in codes, parallel are very significant.
Back in 2009, we had tried to do a film about the Torah codes, but funding never came until 2014. During those days, now almost 6 years ago, I received tables from Rabbi Glazerson as well as Dr. Rotenberg, both who are in the current Torah code film, End to Darkness. Some of the tables I received were also from Professor Haralick. In those days, most people had high hopes about Obama after being dragged into war since 2003. But the tables I received on Obama seemed to indicate something other than what we had expected, and at the time, most people wouldn't have believed the information in them. Now they seem to make more sense. They weren't created to predict the future, only to see what information there might be in the Torah about Obama. This is the largest table. It includes the words Barack Obama in the USA, President. It says at the top, your father Islamic, which we know is true. Then if you read right to left like you're reading Hebrew, near the bottom, just below the words Barack and President, it says, one born in Kenya. But there's a misconception where people believe that to find information in the codes that you simply have to put in a name and it all magically appears. That's just not how it works. The professors and rabbis come up with keywords that they are curious about and see if they appear along with the axis keyword or the subject of the whole table. The software doesn't simply display these things by itself. The words have to be entered and tested to see if they're in the table. One final example is the table on Netanyahu. Rabbi Glazerson found this table on February 9th, 2015, over a month before he won the election. While the news media was telling us that the race was tight, we knew from the Torah codes that chances were high that Netanyahu would win the election, and he did by a wide margin. To see more about the Torah codes, as well as the situation in Israel with Hamas, as well as 40 more tables, please order Torah Codes Into Darkness, now available on Amazon at intodarkness.com.
Meetings of asteroid, which you can see here, this is the asteroid. Then the year Tafshinayinvav, next year, which is exactly the time they said, and the month September, which is Tishrei. Now what is interesting is that it is really coming 2 days after Yom Kippurim, the Day of Atonement, and 2 days also before Sukkot, when we have the full blood moon. So, interesting time. Now also we're looking and we saw, many the Torah comes as warning in front of God, or from God, as you explain it. Atra'ah, the warning, you can see that what you said, Lifnei Hashem Elokeinu, before God our Lord. Now, as we said, what is interesting is that we know quite well that parallel are significant in Bible code, and the word Esther, it comes twice in the Torah, really the second one, but meetings of the year, next year, after the sabbatical, 776, and Tisha comes nice in this way, parallels that people wanted very much to know where something about it appears in the Torah, and this is really what is appearing, as we said, as for Eid, parallel to it, 776, which is the year, and Tisha is month of September, and Ha'atah, the warning in front of from God. Yom Kippur, the day of atonement before, which is the day bring people to do repentance, to repent for all their deeds, and then really we'll have Mashiach coming soon. Very interesting and important table. So before let us see what we have in numerology. Yeah, it's in the Gematria, before Mashiach will come out very strongly. So if you have in Barack Obama, Obama he is negated against Messiah, against Mashiach. Now, what you have here is the numerical value, Barack 02, Obama 54, 12, 57, negative, Mashiach 783. What is also 783? Next year, after sabbatical, the time destined for Mashiach, which is Be'et Tavshin Ayin Vav in 5776, and this year the number Be'25 Tavshin 400 Ayin Vav 76. So 783 again come to the same numerical value. Also amazing, the numerical value of Barack Obama, 302 and 54 is Mashiach 358, which is Mashiach 310. Now we know quite well, a very important principle in numerical value. Everything positive and negative against you. Many interesting examples like Messiah. And Nachash, snake, the same thing, also 358, because snake represents the evil forces against Mashiach. Also Esav, Isu, which is 376, and against this, Shalom, peace, because all the troubles in the world, definitely Isu, Edom is doing Russia. Now let us see here what the table shows us. Very interesting table, and the table is the following. So what we were looking for, best meeting, it could not come in one sentence, definitely. So it could not come in one sentence. So what we found is the following. So here you can see clearly the table. So you see Obama. In fact, looking properly, we saw that it's written more. Obama, from Obama, you have Barack Obama. Riv will be a struggle neged Mashiach, against Messiah, neged Mashiach. Then is the best meeting, different Messiah from the house of Israel. And this is really Gog, because the Gog is going to fight against Mashiach, will be against Messiah, which exactly, as we said, Messiah, the function of Mashiach is to bring Israel to the land, to the full land, which God promised them. And the year comes here also here, what we saw in the numerical value, Tavshin Ayin Vav. Now, clearly written is that God bring you to the land of Canaan, which Ani maybe Yetchem, bring them there, and written afterwards, that God give it to you, but in condition, definitely you keep the Torah. And this is what written here, at Mishpatayim, a judgment, את חוקותיי, מעשית, commandment, תשמרו, ללכת בהם, to go in the ways, follow them, אני השם אלוקיכם, I am your God, ושמרתם משמרתי, you should keep את חוקותיי ואת משפטיי, again, that the man will do it and will be alive. So amazingly, what you see here is, that it's the best meeting of the word Obama against Mashiach, and said it cannot come to one sentence, and this is the best meeting of it, and really the sentence says it will be a struggle, will cause a struggle against Israel and Bet Israel. This is really what Gog. And also, by the way, the Islam, because the inspiration that they get is from the Islam. And the year is next year, which is after sabbatical, is Moshe Shita, which is their destined for Mashiach. So looking all together on the table, very, very interesting table, and really explains to us what is all what we saw in so many tables, clearly that Obama is Gog, and so on. So to understand it, where is the point? In fact, it's good to Israel, you're going to give a lot of weapons, but practically want Israel to go back to 67, not to settle there, which is exactly against Mashiach. Because the purpose, the destiny of Israel to go their land is the land which God gave to them. But everything is in condition that you at Mishpatai Tasu should keep my judgment, my commandments, keeping Shabbat, keeping honesty. And maybe what is going on in Israel, never was such a thing that so many criminals are found who murder Jews all over. It is all over the news. Unfortunately, never happened such a thing. Maybe this is part of the cleaning of the land of Israel, of this negative situation. Murders, almost every day in Israel is a murder. It is not. And desecration of Shabbat, and unfortunately fighting against the Torah, purity of life. So when all these things will be kept properly, So we'll have Mashiach coming and really save us from the situations that we are in today. Before showing you this table, let us see, this is really a Medrash. It is really not a Medrash, but our words from the Kabbalists a while ago, 400 years ago, a book which is called Megalei Amukot. But in this part, he says that in this portion of the Torah which tells us about the war between the 4 and the 5 kings in Lech Lecha and Genesis, we have the Tidal, and then we have also Amraphel. So what is written there is that Tidal and Nimrod, really Gilgul, to do reincarnation. But the most interesting, it says at the time, what happened at that time of the generation of the Tower of Babylon, it is the same thing like later on. And then he says that Sancheriv, the king of Ashur, was also a reincarnation of Nimrod. And then he says that Gog and Magog in future will come with 70 nations, will fight against Mashiach. Also will be, the Gog will be reincarnation of Nimrod. And then he brings the Alkut that Nimrod has few names, and one of them is Cush. He was black. He was black. And then he says afterwards that all these wars, fightings, 4 and the 5, which basically wanted to come to Abraham, indicate to the future that unfortunately nation will do a lot of trouble to Jews, even fighting with Jews. And then, this is the most important statement of this Medrash: if you see kingdoms teasing each other, fighting with each other, wait for the feet of Messiah. I mean, this is a time where you see a lot of kingdoms fighting against one against the other. This is a sign that we are very near to the Messiah, and this is what happened in Abraham. This was said is happening now to us before Mashiach. Now let us see the interesting table which we found, and really according to these words of the Kabbalists, Megalei Amukot. So we found really Nimrod Gog in one sentence, really Nimrod Gog. Now we were looking the connection with Obama. So in fact it came interesting. It came with Bet Obama, like Barack Obama, which is really minimal. Barack Obama is minimal. And then what we saw also this year, Betaf Shin Ayin in 775. And then, as we said, he will come to fight against Mashiach. So you have really Mashiach here. You have Mashiach. Here you can see Mashiach. And who is this one? Ben Ishai, the son of Jesse. And Igal, who will come to redeem us. And then he will come, Gog will come to fight against this. Yeah? And this situation, what is written, is supposed to bring us to do tshuva, to repent. And here you have the word Ha Teshuvah, repentance, the repentance. It's a very important table. And as we said, Kabbalist, very famous one, Megalei Amukot, 400 years ago, he says that really the present Gog will be incarnation of Nimrod. And very interesting, as we said, Nimrod was black, Cushi, the same one also will be Gog. So having this really best meetings with Barack Obama, Nimrod Gog, and also Bet Obama minimal, with the birth of Mashiach, Ben Ishai, and so on, this year, which is also here, which is destined for Mashiach, and Hankoshi was. So, important to know it, and the most important, what we see here, Teshuvah, repentance.
In his eulogy at the funeral of President Shimon Peres, President Barack Obama, in a press release, stated Jerusalem, Israel, the White House, who refuses to recognize Israel's sovereignty over Jerusalem, was quick to cross out the word Israel from the page and to leave only Jerusalem. According to the long-standing policy of Washington, Jerusalem does not belong to Israel. So, interesting news, this is what happened. So, as you know, Obama states don't recognize Jerusalem to be part of Israel, definitely not to be the capital. Now let us see a very interesting table, also significant, as you will see yourself, about Jerusalem, really the call of Jerusalem. Now all this appears, really, it is Riv Yerushalayim, the call over Jerusalem, once in the Torah, really, Riv Yerushalayim, And also in the book of Genesis, every 72 letters, between letter to letter, also very interesting number, 72, very important number. Now what is amazing, seeing here on the right side, Obama, fully writing Obama, and Artsakh Abrit, I mean, they are the source of the call of Jerusalem with Ishmael, the Isa. Very interesting, coming here. Now, what is interesting, that we have here the verses where God says to Abraham, ונתתי לך לזרעך אחריך תשגורך, I will give to you and your descendants the land of your dwelling, כל ארץ כנען, the all land of Canaan, for eternal possession. But the condition, definitely, that you will keep my covenant, which is the Torah, which is the Sabbath, holiness, beauty of life. So in this condition, you will have the whole land of Israel, definitely Jerusalem is the center. Now, again, you have the same thing coming here. God says, my covenant I will establish with Isaac. And the year, amazing, Tafshin Kapav, which is the eve of the Sixth War. Clearly indicating that Jerusalem belonged to Israel, and it was really the promise of God that my covenant I will establish with Isaac on the Sixth War when Jerusalem back to Israel. But amazingly is this very short sentence, Tshuva lakel, this is the answer to God, but this is repentance, returning to God, which is definitely doing, keeping the covenant of God, Torah, the Sabbath, and definitely all the commandments that God commanded us. And then Jerusalem will be, Yerushalayim will be the capital of the full Israel.
I'm here with my good friend Rabbi Glazerson, who has enormous amounts of patience to do what he does in creating these Torah codes, and I'm sure you've seen his website where he has hundreds of these literally up on YouTube. And he does them on every topic pretty much imaginable, and he's also featured in the Torah Code Into Darkness film, which came out about a year ago, and we're already trying to work on another one. I mean, that's something that we're trying to do.
That we have the people to help for it.
Yeah. And so that just requires us to get the money together to do that, and that's what we're doing right now, to try to figure out how to do that the best way. But he did a table for me again today, which is very humbling, actually, because it mentions Torah Code and my company name, Pinlight. Glazerson, why don't you explain
and
what
also
this table means?
And also it's interesting that this table you can see in red, Torah Code, and what is interesting is that you have Pinlight, definitely, with the smallest skip, which instead is very, very significant.
Well, what he means by that, the small skip, it's like we're talking about, again, like we do in the film, equidistant letter sequencing, which is skipping letters to find other words in the Torah. And in the word Pinlight, what was the skip?
It is four.
Four letters.
Only 4 letters.
So you wouldn't even need a computer if you knew where to look to find the name Pinlight.
Definitely. It's very. Now, what is interesting that under Pinlight you have a small skip of this year, 5776.
Yeah, that's the Hebrew calendar word for 2016.
So this clearly shows that Pinlight a very important task, destiny on this year to bring more to our cause. Now, really, you have here, you can see on the right, 5775, Tafshin, which really we did the previous.
It's when the film came out.
Yeah, right. Now, also what we have here on the same line of Pinlight, you have ephod and ephod, as we showed already in one of the watchers.
Yes.
That ephod are connected with codes.
And ephod's kind of interesting because it was a device that the high priest wore that lit up when you asked it questions.
Exactly.
So we're kind of postulating, could the Torah code be the modern ephod? We've mentioned that before, even in Watchers we mentioned that.
One of the Watchers, right.
But in this case, it is very interesting. Maybe the ephod was a device, it had some kind of technology that we don't understand today.
It was a divine thing. Now also what is important that we have like a sentence, the purpose of Pinlight, the purpose of Torah Code is to show to the world the deeds of God, because the Torah was a blueprint of creation, which means that everything which is in the Torah, it was planned, and really with our deeds, and free choice. But when we behave in different ways, we have different tables. I mean, this is the idea of the codes, which were only the written Torah, not in the Bible, not in the...
No, this is amazing to me. It's very humbling and exciting to think that we'd have anything to do with showing the world the deeds of God. But I mean, if that's what we're supposed to do, it's a great thing. But you've also done a couple other really interesting tables, which blew my mind. This one here, because this is on all the news today about Hillary Clinton being sick, and so we thought we'd see if there was a table about that. And tell me what you found here.
So it's amazing that only once in the Torah it appeared that Hillary is sick. Also very interesting.
In a full sentence, Hillary is sick with the same skip.
Right, the same skip. Once in the Torah, yeah. Now, what is the sickness of Hillary? Also indication you have here within bedaleket. It means she is sick. Chola, means she is sick. Hillary is sick with infection. Which one? You have on the left side, reot, daleket reot.
So, lungs, yeah, which is with infection. Weren't you telling me that that's the word in Hebrew
for
pneumonia?
Yeah, in English is pneumonia. In Hebrew, you say daleket. It is infection. Which kind of infection? Of the reot. And this is exactly what you have here. You have here bedaleket, because it's written chola, Hillary chola, with what?
Right.
With infection. Of which one? Minimal in the Torah, lungs, reot. And also we have the ear, you have 5776, which is this here.
Right.
And also, by the way, you have the woman, to tell you that she is a woman.
Yeah, that's close to her sentence, sick Hillary. Really amazing. So what was the skip on sick Hillary? It's a pretty large skip, was it?
Because it's in the Torah, once in the Torah, and many letters. You can see on the left side, it's written there, 113, 85. It means from which letter? The letter is 113.